wonderful. Have you had feedback from students about your work?
I have. It's, they're all very thankful. I've had students say that, oh, wow, I am working with a patient right now and they have this condition and you really did a good job. You really did a great job. And I attribute that totally to the teachers giving me the information I need going into it. But yes, I've had students who were very thankful. I mean, they're all just so thankful to have this opportunity. Sometimes I feel bad because I feel like they think I might be tricking them, and I'm not. So it's nice to get the feedback that they know that this is helping them.
So we're giving you a complex client to manage in terms of her symptoms. That's the body of work that you walk in the door thinking that I've got to listen for and see how she's doing with that series of symptoms. But part of the home health nurse's responsibility, or any nurse's responsibility with a chronically ill client, is anticipatory guidance. So let's first ground ourselves in what does anticipatory guidance mean to you?
Looking ahead of the trajectory of her illness and where she falls on that trajectory line. And she's a COPD, so she has that jagged trajectory. So each time she goes into the hospital, she chunks off a little bit further down.
Okay, so works for me. That's descriptive. It's like any other nurse. If you can't give it a word, give it a description, and then the providers can follow you. So let me give you some updates on what we know about Esther. Her name's Esther Morris. She's a 78-year-old woman who we've been following for treatment of her COPD. She was diagnosed with COPD 14 years ago. And for the majority of that time, her disease progressed pretty slowly. However, about 2 years ago, the severity of her disease escalated, and she's been in the hospital 5 times in the past 2 years for exacerbation of her COPD or COPD-related illnesses like pneumonia. So from a social history, she's living independently in a mobile home park that's designed for senior citizens. She is financially secure and can afford a caregiver, and that's what's made it possible for her to live independently through all of this.
Does she have a caregiver 24 hours a day?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Widowed with 2 children. I don't know when she was widowed. The older son lives in Texas, and the younger son lives in Sacramento. And tell me, what jumps out at you that's helpful information?
For me, that she's been into the hospital 5 times in the last 2 years. I'm thinking she's getting towards the end stage of her COPD trajectory.
Okay.
And the weight loss is kind of on the same token.
Okay. So frequent hospitalizations, we've got a weight loss. I could have given you a BMI. So frequent hospitalizations and weight loss.
I wonder about the management, like who her caregiver is and how they're managing the symptoms themselves. And I'm concerned that she only has a caregiver with part-time, not full-time.
So I'm saying caregiver, can I say qualifications, Jody?
That's perfect.
Qualifications and then
Hours.
thank you, that's the word I was looking for, and hours. You want to investigate that going in the door?
I'm also a little concerned about her social support, her family. Her family's pretty far away. It sounds like she has her caregiver, but as far as any sort of support groups or bridge games.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so social support, and I'm going to say local. And then social support from family. Okay.
So, how is her relationship with her sons? Do they really know where she's at in her trajectory?
Do you know where she's at in her trajectory?
So you guys are just tossing it right out there. In the foreground, what we're there to do is to manage her symptoms. But in the background, the big question is, where's she at in her trajectory? And we're starting to get some data, so we're starting to know where she's at, but does she know where she's at? And then how do we help do anticipatory guidance and help her take advantage of what we're able to understand about her illness.